connection for Aboriginal people in the Kimberleys to land is significant. It's the last living asset that we really have. That connection has been there for centuries. We'll always have a connection to country. We go out there, we gather our foods. We go out there, we gather our knowledge, we gather our medicine. From that perspective, it's more than just the landscape to us. It means a lot more.
And it's very important that our children carry on, because we don't want our culture lost. And we want to see the country how it was healthy before. We want to leave it how it was.
The Northern Australian tropical savannas are the largest intact savanna ecosystem in the world. Indigenous people have been here for at least 50,000 years. When Europeans arrived in Australia over 200 years ago, we saw a fair amount of dispossession from the land, so Indigenous people being taken off the land. As Indigenous people were moved off the country, we've seen a disruption in traditional practices like fire. And this has had a big impact. It's had a cultural impact, but it's also had a big biodiversity impact, with large-scale wildfires occurring late in the dry season, which burns a lot more vegetation, a lot more habitat for particularly our endemic species.
One of the key projects that we have at the moment is our Savannah fire burning project that we have, where the guys go out and do the burning in the early seasons where it's a lot cooler, and we sell the carbon credits off. Being able to create those economic opportunities on country is vitally important for us. It's what we know. It's our connection to country.
People have always been there as part of the land, as being there to manage it, being there to look after it, being there to engage with it, and that's the relationship between Aboriginal people and the land, is that they are one and the same. This knowledge has been passed on from generation to generation, from the old people to the young people, and so we say that we're the first, Aboriginal people are the first conservationists. And it's because of that value, it's because of that cultural relationship that Aboriginal people have with land that makes it significant in relation to people's role and understanding.
The KLC is primarily a land rights organisation that was established in 1978, but over the years we've grown to really focus on caring and looking after country. We've got an extensive land and sea management unit and rangers based working right across the region, over 350,000 square kilometres, 13 ranger teams employing about 120 people looking after native title lands.
We need to go to the next step, which is get control of the future. Set up an endowment fund for the particular cultural enterprise hub. Because a lot of that, what it does, it frees up the opportunities for us to be funded outside of government so that we can take more ownership of what we're trying to achieve, have more autonomy around the types of enterprises that we want to develop that are more attuned to our cultural and traditional values.
What we do with the KLC in Northern Australia is just one example of what we're doing around the world, where we're supporting some of our Indigenous partners in strengthening their goals and their interests in landscape management.
It's important we make and look after a beautiful country. And protection, the history, the knowledge that we have has to be passed down to our next generation.
It's a sense of who I am. It's my identity, and I'm happy to be able to participate and acknowledge that and recognise it, and still have people to be able to teach me, a lot more about my culture and about where I'm from.
Land needs people. Country can't look after itself. Empowerment happens when the relationship between land and people is brought together.